Francesca Possati is an Italian artist that only became an artist 2 years ago after moving to the UK and rediscovering her passion while being an health assistant. Seems confusing? What if I told you that art helped save the lives of her patients and also brought the passion back to her after a 10-year break? Let's dive in and discuss how art can save lives, getting better at one art medium by painting with another, how realistic art is more than just a copy of a photo, and advice about getting started with art from scratch. Want to be part of the show? Then send in your questions or topics you'd like to see covered to our email at hello@etralab.com. If you send us an audio recording, we might include it in the episode. Hi, I'm Anya, and this is Make More Art, a podcast by Etra, meant to inspire you to keep on creating. Now let's hear from our guest. Okay, so Francesca, the first question I have for you is, I know you're relatively new to art making. It didn't happen until not long ago. How long ago was that, and why did you start?
Okay, so I started 3 years ago here in London. And how did I start was really, I think, peculiar because I was working in a hospital for eating disorder, because that's actually the reason why I came to London to work with eating disorder. And I had to observe the patient at first, when I first started to work, to get to know them. Some of the patients, they were one-to-one, so I had to stay with them a long time, and sometimes just literally sitting and observing them in their room doing their own things.
Question. Sorry, what was your job at that time?
So I was a healthcare assistant.
Okay.
In Italy, I graduate. We call it educator, so it's a bit of a mess. It's completely different than here, but that's what I could do in the UK. So
yeah.
And that's how I started to draw. Actually, like observing the patient, like staying there for hours, and sometimes I just didn't know what to do, and I had the allocation sheets and I had the pen, so I just started to draw them, like to portrait them, of course, asking them because maybe they didn't want me to.
Yeah.
But it was completely random. Like I seriously didn't know even how I did it, because I wasn't drawing for, I don't know, for years, or like 10 years or something. So it just came up like that.
How long ago was that? So you were born in Italy and you moved to the UK to work as a health assistant, and this was how long ago?
It was like a bit more than 3 years ago, like maybe 3 years and a half. I moved in the UK 4 years and a half ago. Yeah. So yeah, the main reason was because in Bologna, where I'm from, after graduation, I couldn't find a place to work that I wanted to, because I did my dissertation in eating disorder, and because I did all the internship during uni in eating disorder, and so I work with a patient with eating disorder through the internship. So I really got into the field, and I wanted to work there, but there was not a place to work.
Yeah.
They just basically let's say use the student during the internship, but then they don't hire them.
Yeah. Because it's cheaper to have interns, so they just take advantage.
It's really complicated to explain now, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, let's just not open that kind of worms.
Yeah, I found a really, really good place here in London, and so yeah, that's how also I started to approach art. Basically, then I the patients started to support me in this drawing thing more and more. They asked me even to draw, I don't know, some singer they like, or actor, actress they liked. And so after I was going home after even 12-hour shift.
Wow.
And draw on my own. Like even during the weekend, I didn't go out, and I was drawing.
So in a way, you used art as therapy for your patients, and that gave back tenfold. It got you back into art as well after a 10-year break.
Yes, and yeah, 10-year break. Like I never did it professionally. Yeah, I was just doing it even as a kid. Like I was drawing anime
Having
and
fun.
things like that. But I never thought, oh, I'm gonna be an artist. I want to
Yeah.
be an artist, and
You did it for fun. It was a hobby.
yeah, I was, never thought that it was gonna be a job, definitely. And in Italy, absolutely not, because even if it's like
Wow.
everyone thinks, oh, it's the ultimate country for art, but at least where I'm from, there's this conception of the starving artist. Is a bit of everywhere, I think, sometimes, but especially where I'm from, there is a really small environment. And like you have to, I don't know, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be something, study business and things like that. Something really standard.
Real job.
It's not
I'm
even
quote unquote
contemplated to be an artist. If you say that,
in
it's like,
Italy.
well, what are you gonna do then? You're gonna end up in the street or something. So never thought about it. I actually studied pharmacy because my dad had his own pharmacy for like 40 years. So after high school, I didn't know what to do, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. Like it was something easy, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. Then I discovered through personal experience and family experience that I wanted to help people with issues and like mental illness and addiction, disability. So I found this course that it was just perfect for what I wanted to do at the time. And I graduated like this, comparing to pharmaceutical study that was really slow for me. So.
Because you were not super in love with it, but then was it?
And it was also really hard. Like, basically, in high school, I studied ancient Greek and Latin and like literature mostly because I hated math. And then in pharmaceutical study,
you need math.
It was like the first year, like math, physics, chemistry.
Oh, slap in the face.
I mean, I knew, but I was like, why did I even choose this?
Why did I do this to myself? I'm a masochist.
It's funny because I did a bit of everything. If I think of my life journey and what I chose, like from Greek, Latin, and then
so all over the place,
physics, very all over the place. It's like definitely I didn't know where to go, what to do. And even recently, because I'm an artist just since a couple of years, so I used art in my job as in the hospital for almost 3 years, but it was not professional. Like I was doing art and craft. I started to get into craft as well. And I because I was seeing that it was helping the patient as well and my relationship with them. So it was actually a good way to get to know them and building trust because like they were seeing therapists, doctor as like,
like this
the enemy. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
they're here because I have a problem and they want to cure me and they don't care about me. They just want to. Yeah, there's a lot of distrust at the beginning. I believe.
Also,
I mean, I don't know.
Most of them really quite complex, so they weren't maybe talking at all. So art was a really good way of approaching them, even though most of them say that they never did art, they didn't like it, and they didn't want to do it. But then eventually, I managed to get everyone into art. So then I was like, they told me that I could be the activity coordinator of the hospital.
Wow, it's so good that they recognize
And
that.
I was really happy. I was really happy, seriously.
Can you tell me a story about the time, like one of your patients? I'd love to know how that came to be. Who thought about art? Was it you? Was one of the patients? Can you tell me one of those stories? Like, how did it happen?
I think I just started to talk to her about what I was doing, like presenting myself as activity coordinator and everything. And then I showed them what I did, what I did with other patients. And I think it was amazing because she said at first, no, like, I don't want to do any of this. I actually started to with like craft, asking if she wanted to make a friendship bracelet.
Oh.
And then after, I think it was the same day, but like after hours, another member of staff came to me and said, oh, actually, she asked for you. She said that she wants to do what you proposed to her. And that, I think it was already like a big thing for me, because she was so, like, she wasn't keen at all at first. And then she looked for me, she asked for me to another member of staff. And then from there, like, she just asked me how she could do this bracelet. And then she just got into it more, and then she started to talk about herself as well. Like, because it's a bit hard to explain, but you have to be in the situation. But then I kind of knew what to ask and what to not.
That's why you're a pro.
What not to ask. Yeah. And then, like, she was like, I'm not gonna paint because I never did it, and I'm so bad. I'm sure I can't do it. Blah blah blah. But I just brought a canvas, the painting. I was literally just doing it, in front of them, and I was starting to do it myself. And then I asked her, okay, you don't want to paint, but if you had to have a painting in your house, but like, what would you want to have? Like, what subject? And she told me that was her dog. So then I was like, oh, show me a picture. And then I started to, to show her how to paint her dog. And she got really interested in, and she started to use the painting herself.
So you started that painting and then gave it to her, and she kept on working on it, and you were working on it together?
Yeah, because she asked me
that's so
eventually,
nice.
She was like, no. And then when she saw me doing it, that's what I was saying before, like, transfer my passion to them.
Yeah.
So most of the time it was like me starting and like having all the painting there and like all the stuff there, even if they said no,
Wow.
But before, of course, you can't just go there the first time you meet them and with stuff, with like overwhelmed. They already overwhelmed, in a new place, in a hospital, in that condition. So I needed to be, to talk with them in a very friendly way. Like, I think the difference with my role was like a more friendly,
not a
role.
Patient, a friend.
But of course, in my head, it was like all I knew what to say and what not to say again.
Exactly.
So even the friendly approach for me was like something, I knew how to use. It was not just random,
Of course.
So
yeah, that made sense. And that, I think, that what makes a great professional, because great therapists, in my opinion, and I'm not saying that you are a therapist, I know that's not what you studied, but people who practice that sort of work, I think the best ones, yes, they understand that they're patients, they know which buttons to push and to not touch because that's their training, but they're able to treat the patient as a human being. And I think that's what separates therapists from the great therapists. It's just empathy, treating people as
Exactly,
people.
yes.
And just the fact that you were able to dive into that pool of art that you love so much and make that passion visible to them in a way that is not overwhelming but interesting. And then question, so after they started painting, how did that, I'm sure that painting helped them be more open towards you and trust building. So how does that connect with helping fix the issue, the eating disorder?
Okay, this is a big question. Well, first, of course, it was not just me. There was a big team
Of course.
behind, But I think, again, as I say, that because most of them didn't want to talk about their own issue, and especially from the start, when they first, meet you, as it's normal for everybody, so for them even more. I think art is a really good way of expressing yourself, and in a way that you don't even realize. Like when you do art, you just I don't know if it happened to you, but like if you do art and then you have to talk with someone, like your husband, for example, like you don't think that much of what you are saying. You know what I mean?
Like there's a disconnection between what you feel and what you say?
It's like you're more, you feel more free in a way. Okay. Or at least it's for me. And I saw that was for the patient as well, because they were starting to talk more openly as well, like while they were painting. And through even describing some subject, then things can come up. It's hard, again, it's really hard to explain.
So it's like art puts you in a state that is more approachable, in a sense that it's not like you don't have your guard up so tight. You kind of let it go down a little bit, and it puts you in a more approachable mindset. And it's not like hypnosis, of course, but in a good way. It helps you communicate better.
Exactly.
Even if it's just about random, completely normal things, just like, like this color, it reminds me of the blue of this, about this one thing I did back then in the day. Like, this blue reminds me of the beautiful ocean back in my hometown. And then you're talking about your hometown.
Like you say, like you put your guard down. That's the main thing I wanted to say. That's what actually happened.
Wow.
Like, but I realized that it happened to me. So then I thought, well, maybe it will happen to them as well.
Wow.
And in general, like using a brush is just something so also relaxing in itself, but you have to be relaxed, right, to use a brush. You can't be
super tense and
tense. Yes, the word in English. Yes. So I think that was the main thing, like be able to, first they were expressing themselves through the art, and they were expressing themselves to me as well. It's like in the the communication was better, was more open.
So in a sense, art was like a bridge between the patient and the caregiver, in a way that not only facilitated communication, it built trust. And after that first step, then because you were talking, then you could eventually start the therapy and helping them with their eating disorder. So art was a way to get closer to them, so you can put them so they would feel safe and with enough trust to start the therapy. Wow.
Also the fact that I was always there, like, they saw me every day. So, doing certain thing, art and craft every day, and even see me coming into their room every day and say hi, how are you,
Oh, yeah.
it's all thing together, even small and big things together.
Wow.
But I think art help a lot. I mean,
Okay.
that's what I
I
think,
agree. I agree.
anyway.
I agree. And if anyone wants to share their thoughts about this conversation, please do so at etcherlab.com/Francesca, and we will. I will spell that at the end of the show. Okay, so my next question for you is, I understand now the connection between art and the therapy work that you were doing at the time, and how that influenced you to start making art for yourself. Now you've been doing art for like a couple of years, and your art is mind-blowing amazing. It's super realistic, it's super detailed, and it's beautiful. The colors, the depth, the light is beautiful. Sorry, I have so many questions. The first is, how did you get to this level in such a short amount of time?
Okay, so I it's a really simple answer. I just did it. Like, I just did it every single day. Like, since I started 3 years ago with the patient at the hospital, no matter if I was working, again, 12 hours, 8 hours, 5 days a week, 2 days a week, I was doing it at home as well. I was doing it even like till late night on my own, every single day, basically. And also, like, when I discovered it and I saw that actually I could make something nice, I was getting into even more and just doing it more. So before, maybe it was just like, I don't know, 3 times a week, and then it was like 5, and then every day again. And I wanted to discover more and more. Like, I didn't want to just use the pencil. I wanted to use the acrylic. I wanted to use the watercolor. I wanted to use the pastels. So it just like got bigger and bigger. And I bought the material. Again, at the time I had the job, so I could afford to buy the material. And I have a really supportive fiance, so he didn't mind, like, to even in the weekend that I was doing art while maybe watching movie together. Like, I think it's when I started, it was really rare for me to just watch movies without doing art. I had to do art.
Wow.
Like, it was like I had it like a urge to do it.
You were addicted to it by that time.
And, so if you do it like every single day for
2 years,
3 years,
you become inevitably really good at it. Thing is, I think the secret is not only you did it every single day, you did it while knowing what you were studying, because if you do it just for the sake of doing it every day, hoping that you get results over time, and you're not, focused or mindful about what you're practicing, you can do whatever you want. You're not going to get that better unless you put some thought into it. So how did you know what to focus on?
Again, I think with practice, because I know that I wanted to do realistic because it's just what I liked. Like, on Instagram, I was looking at so many artists doing, like, for example, the eye. It was something that got me at first a lot, and I was like, that's so amazing. It's better than a photo. Like, it just get you better than a photo. So I really want to do this. So I want to do it like that. So I started with the eyes, before black and white, and color. And I just got, I just watched YouTube tutorial and things like that. I never study, like, never paid for a course or anything like that. Just nowadays there's a lot of free online, and I just start to do a lot of research as well.
There's so many
like, even
things.
at night, it was something that I loved. So I think you need the practice, a lot of practice, but also you need to love it like 200%.
Wow.
I think.
And it's also the thing that you said, you started with pencils, and then when you felt like you were good enough with pencils, you brought into another medium, and then when you were happy with that medium, you brought into another one and another one. Was that it?
basically, yes. It's not because I felt I was good with that medium, so I could
Okay.
start with another. It's
Mm-hmm.
just because I really wanted to use as many medium as possible. I want to be a versatile artist. I don't even understand how some artists can focus on just one medium, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel, as I am, like I would be even bored.
Mm-hmm.
Like
To just have one.
I like to discover new things in general as a person. So
Yeah.
um, and also it gives you so many possibility of what you can create. Like
Yeah.
the more medium you know how to use, again the more possibility you have, and yeah.
Yeah, and
So
also the cross, like when you discover a new technique with gouache, maybe that gives you insights on something new you can do with, I don't know, pencils or something. Because, oh, what if I did it like that, but
yes,
with pencils? And I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Let me try that again.
yes, it's true. You learn, from one medium to another, and then when you
Mm-hmm.
go back to a certain medium, you're like, oh, actually, I didn't know this before, and I discovered it through, like I was doing pencil for so long, and then
Mm-hmm.
I started to use acrylic, and then I go back to pencil, and
Mm-hmm.
then I get back into acrylic. I was like, I'm using acrylic differently now after so long,
Wow.
like focusing on pencil, and like get professionally on pencils.
That's really cool. And one question though, before I put this subject to bed, how did you know it was time for you to try a different medium?
um I think, I don't know. I think, to be fair, it was straight away. I use pencil because I think if it's hard to paint without knowing how to draw. So again, because I didn't draw for so many years since high school time, I wanted to see that I could actually
Mm-hmm.
draw. Uh, you know, so I had to use pencil and like graphite and
Mm-hmm.
just the basic. And then I was like, okay, I can draw, so I think I can paint as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tried. I have to say, at first you don't know the material very well, you don't know what to buy, so I got maybe the cheapest stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
when you then get the better material, you see the huge difference, because
Yeah.
you have a bit of experience, and with the best material. I chose realistic also because, well, first because I just love it,
Mm-hmm.
and second, I was like, if this gonna ever be my job, I think, if I wanna actually make money with my art,
Mm-hmm.
um, I have to be versatile, and I think realism is just what will give me a job faster as well, because I don't know, if I did some abstract or something that it's even hard to
Like
comprehend and
gallery
understand.
stuff, it's harder. Yeah,
It's like probably would have taken
probably.
me 10 years to sell something.
Yeah,
So
and I think that because you were doing what you really loved, the amount of growth was way higher than something that you didn't love as much, because the more you love something, the more you want to practice, the more you practice, the better you get at it. So if you want to make money out of art, then for sure do money out of art that you love making, because it just makes the whole thing more enjoyable, in kind of not easier, but in a sense easier, because you get better faster. One more question I have for you. So I heard some artists say, and I've maybe said it sometimes as well, um, realistic art is very pretty, but you can take a photo.
oh God,
Rent time, please
I
do
I
share your
hate
thoughts.
hearing that. I hate hearing that. It's
Oh my
so
goodness.
not true. Like,
Tell me everything.
so I think people that say that, either they don't do realism, they don't know how to do it, basically, or I don't know, like they don't have the knowledge, because um, some photos are very bad,
Yeah.
and I have to work like when I do commissioned work, I have to work with really bad photos, and my artwork is not to brag, but it's better
It is.
because
I have one of
I
your
actually
pieces
add.
open here right now, and I just want to say, if you're watching this on the podcast, again, we'll have this image on the post. If you're watching this on YouTube, the image is showing up right now, but I have open in front of me a post that you just did, like your third post on your Instagram at the moment of this recording, and you have the drawing of the dog and the photo of the dog, and the drawing is so much better than the photo. You were fixing light, you were fixing contrast, you were fixing composition.
Exactly.
So yeah, please continue. I'm just interrupting you.
Yeah, there's a study behind it as well. Like, it's not just coping, and even if you think it's just coping, I mean, do you know how hard is coping a realistic photo, like a portrait, or with all the detail? Do you know how hard it is to spot every single detail and every single color, and like match the color to so it's a massive amount of work. So I think just for that, it should be respected more from people that say, oh, it's just a photo. And secondly, again, it's not like the photo. If maybe if you're looking on Instagram, you think, oh, maybe it's like the photo, but if you look at, like, in person, you can see that it's just like it's more 3D, it gives you this 3D effect. It's like the dog is coming out of the paper, or the person is just alive there. So no, it's not like the photo.
Yeah. I'm just going to play the devil's advocate here. I don't want to rattle you, but just for the fun of the podcast, why not? I'm just going to pretend to be a very angry and ignorant customer. What do you mean the color is hard? You just, pick the color on the photo and you know exactly what color to use. Oh my God, your face is precious. Those people who just think like, okay, what I'm trying to get at, there's a difference between the colors you see and the colors that are actually there.
When they if they complain about the work I did?
No, if someone thinks, oh, but it's not that hard to match the colors. Because you can color pick.
Try it.
do it, you bum.
Yeah, do it. I mean, I have, I think, 600 pencil. Okay.
Oh my God!
Just color pencil, not
color.
Just color pencil. Between cheap and good ones, over the years, this year, and there's still never enough color. Okay.
Wow.
That's how hard it is to actually match the color that are not the basic one. So that's an answer, and the other answer is try yourself.
Yeah. If you think it's that easy, then just do it and then tell me how easy it is. What about people
but it's good that you brought it up, because there's so many people that
I know that's why I'm like, that's why I'm making an angry one,
which is
like they should know. And I'm learning a lot by doing these interviews. There's so many things I don't know. I mean, I'm not able to do realistically. So I know it's hard. And I'll leave it at that.
I'm very, I think I saw an episode with Jean-Francois, I think, that you're talking about how detail ruin everything and stuff. For me, it's the opposite.
Oh, like, good. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Devil's in the detail, like it's really hard to catch all the details, probably impossible, but there are some details that you need to catch and to make the artwork speak.
I think, so referring to that, the interview with Jean, which I will link to the post associated with this episode, I think what Jean was trying to say, and I hope I'm not ruining everything, is just for the context of anyone listening to this interview that did not listen to that one.
And I love his work, by the way.
Oh yeah. His work is amazing, and he's so nice. He's such a great person and a great instructor.
He's so fast. He does amazing stuff.
I know. How does he do? Like, he did a live demo with us, and in 25 minutes he painted the whole scene. I'm like, how do you do that? But basically, what he's doing is he interprets the art and paints it in his own vision. He picks the details he wants to do. So So he has like this very fine line between what is very loose and where to put a lot of detail so the whole thing looks
Yeah.
balanced. And it feels like there's a lot of detail, but there's not. There's just a few spots with detail that are just enough to make the whole piece come alive. That's the kind of work he does. Now, the kind of work you do, Francesca, is details, details, details. There's no, I mean, is there any amount of looseness in what you do?
Sometimes I do watercolor and I love to just not put
Uh-huh.
not put as many details. But I have to say, when I started watercolor at first, that was like 2 years ago. I was less detailed in general,
Mm-hmm.
and so if I have to go back to watercolor now,
I'd love to
uh,
see it.
I don't
I'd
know, I
love to see
struggle a
it.
bit to not put details.
I'd
So for
love
me,
to
it's the
see you
opposite.
doing watercolor now because I think it would be a very unique piece that would come out of it. So if you ever go back to watercolor, please ping me. I'd love to see the pieces you
But
make.
I love them.
I know you do.
For me, it's just like, again, I love detail, but I even love to, just get loose and with watercolor. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So, it's just sometimes to even take a break from, the
Realistic. But
concentrating on the detail. But I think what's amazing is that the more I do detail artwork, the more I feel like free in what I'm doing. I don't feel like it's something that made me go mad,
mm-hmm.
because some people, maybe think, oh, if you do a detailed work, it's just it's too hard. It's just you get mad and you get lost as well in the. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it's so relaxing actually to spot the detail, and manage to put them on paper, on canvas, and find the right color. It's
Yeah.
just, I love it. I
Francesca,
mean,
we had Pyle do mandalas on a live demo and she was using rulers and making everything perfect, and that's very relaxing to her and to a lot
yeah,
of people watching it. I would go insane personally, and I think that's the beauty of art because each one of us does what brings us the most joy and peacefulness, if that's a word. So that's why art is so different from person to person, because for you what relaxes you is all those details with your super realistic paintings that are beautiful, and for me it's the very loose doodles that I do with splashes of watercolor, and for Jean it's those very carefully put details of watercolor that makes the whole paint come alive through looseness. It's just amazing how everyone's so different yet everyone's just great, you
yeah.
know.
That's why I think it's good to know the artist as well, other than the artwork.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm,
Complements each other.
so, yeah, no,
um
it's there's a word behind it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, it's there's a lot of depth into it. uh Before, okay, we're about to wrap up, but before we go, one last question. Any advice for artists, hobbyists, or people who are looking into starting a hobby of art making, but they're kind of not really want to doing it because they're not good at drawing or they're a bit hesitant to start art making? What would you like to say to them?
I think if you want to do it, you just grab a pencil and do it. Just There's so much online now on Google. You don't even need to research that much to find the right material. So I think, and there's also people that are nice enough to put their tutorial on YouTube for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just follow them and just do it. And if you really like it, if you will notice, when you start drawing, you feel it. I think it's like love,
Yeah.
it's a bit of love at first sight.
Oh, that's so
For
romantic.
me,
I love it. I
you
love it.
start, you feel something. It's more than just, the drawing a line or a face or something. It's just more. It's like a connection
Mm-hmm.
with the word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, deep.
Love it.
And practice a lot, like, and never give up as well. Like, everyone needs to start from somewhere. So if
Mm-hmm.
your work doesn't look for you, doesn't look nice, just keep going. And like, if you want to do realistic work, you have to have a lot of patience, and just keep building layers and layers and layers. Don't just stop, for in the first or second layer, because it needs time, and take your time as well.
It's like peeling an onion. There's so many layers and it will make you cry, but it's so delicious after it's cooked. So,
but sometimes even now, with me, like, I don't have this big experience first, but sometimes when I start a piece, I'm like, I'm annoyed when I'm doing the first layer, because I think, oh, it doesn't look good. It's just, I hate it. And it's like, okay, I need to just be patient and do more and do more. And then after, I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. Okay.
How do you know where to just completely ditch the drawing and start from scratch, or when to keep going?
I think I never ditch a drawing, because again, I just had the patience to, count to 100 and say, okay, I need to just go on. Wow. And if there's a mistake, there's no mistake in art, I think. You can always, draw over, paint over, and even, the first piece you do when you start art are valuable, because it's nice to see the progress as well. So I never ditch a drawing or a painting.
Wow. I love it. And it makes sense for the kind of work you do as well. Okay, so you are going to do a live demo with us on April 27th, and I'll be hosting it unless something happens by then. But no, I will host it. Everything will be fine. So it will be a fun live demo. Can you just tell us a little bit about what we will be doing on that free demo?
Okay, so it will be an eye. I think it will be my own eye, and just because, to have the photo there. And I think the eye is good because, it can be done in a relatively short amount of time, realistically. And it just condenses many realism rules and techniques. So there's, I'm not saying it now, but it's, if for people that wants to learn realism, I think the eye is the best part.
It is how you started, as we learned in this episode. So
I started, so it's about no. But again, there's like reflection, there's contrast, there, light and dark in a right amount. And again, because it's small, it doesn't scare as well.
Wow.
Or at least is what I think. So. Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to that demo, because maybe you're going to make realistic art not as scary to me. I'm looking forward to that. Has art ever helped you go through a hard time? Please tell us your story in the comment section of the post associated with this interview at etchrlab.com/Francesca. That's etchrlab.com/FRANCESCA. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, simply let us know in the comment section below. If you're enjoying the podcast, please help us keep the show alive. You can subscribe and give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts at etchrlab.com/go/Apple. Or if you're more of a YouTube viewer, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our most recent videos. Sharing is caring, and every little bit helps. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Until then, let's make more art.